Hello friends and welcome back. So in this session we are going to learn how we can create and attach an Amazon EBS volume instance. Okay, so it is similar like in a traditional Windows your personal laptop or personal desktop. Okay, if you want to install some extra hard disk. Okay, similarly if you have an EC2 instance in the AWS, okay, and you want to attach an extra volume or extra disk, okay, to your instance, so how we can do that? Okay, so for that we have a process where we can create an EBS volume, and that EBS volume we attach to the EC2 instance. Okay, so now this in AWS, okay, this volume is called an EBS, which is elastic block storage. And why we call it as a elastic block storage? Because elastic means the storage is flexible. That means you can increase its size, change its performance type, take snapshot, and restore it without replacing the entire storage. So you have flexibility, then it is called the elastic. That block, so data is stored in fixed block size. So it is just like the traditional hard disk or SSD that we have. Okay, the operating system see it as a raw disk device. And store means it is a storage service provided by the AWS. That is why it is called the EBS. Okay, so EBS volume. If someone is saying you EBS volume, that a person is talking about a standard disk volume. Okay, standard block volume. So now if you have a requirement that for any reasons you need a separate disk to be attached to your EC2 instance, so how we can do that, that I'm going to explain in this session with the execution. Okay, so this is the action plan, and action plan is very straightforward. Okay, let me explain you with the high level steps, and then I will show you with the execution what exactly we do. The very first thing, because we are going to attach an extra volume, so that extra volume we need to create in the AWS console. Okay, and when you are creating the your EBS volume, okay, you have to specify some details for that. Okay, for example, what would be the size of for your volume that you are going to create? So you have to create its size according to your requirement. Then we have a different kind of a volume types. Okay, so there is a recommended volume that you can use. Otherwise, you can if you have some specific requirement, then there would be some different type of volumes that you can select from there. Okay, in the options. Okay, now because we are going to attach this particular volume to of an instance, okay, EC2 instance. So that particular instance may be in a particular availability zones, right? We have multiple availability zones in a region. So whenever you are creating a volume, you have to make sure that you are going to select the same availability zone just like we have for the particular EC2 instance, okay, because the EC storage is specifically to the availability zones. That means a particular data center. Right. So this is the one important thing that you have to consider when you are creating the volume. And once the volume is created, you need to attach that volume to the EC2 instance. Okay. So this we can attach from the console itself. So you can create the volume from the console, and then you can attach the volume from the console itself to the particular instance. Okay. And when you attach the instance, oh sorry, when you attach the storage to a particular instance, okay, so you will see a different name on the screen. And when you log into the machine, you will see a different naming convention for the device. For example, when you log into your AWS console, and when you create the volume and try to attach it to an instance, so it will show you the device name something like this one, device, and then SDF, SDA, SDB, SDC, something like that one. Okay, but actually when you are going to attach in your to format it, and then you attach it in your mount it in your EC2 instance. Okay, so there you will see in something like this one, NVE, in the NVE form. So that means in the console you will then see the naming specifications like this one, SDF, SDA, SDB, SDC something. But on the actual server you will see like this one, NVMe. Okay, and AWS Nitro represent EBS volumes to the operating system using the NVMe. So this NVMe means non-volatile memory express protocol. It is a specific protocol, okay, rather than the old virtual SATA SCI interfaces. So this is the older way of the representation of the disk, which is the SATA or SCSI. Okay, but now traditional in the modern way, okay, it is NVMe. Okay, which is called a non-volatile memory express. That's why when you log into your machine and you try to mount and attach, okay, then you will see it is something like this one, NVMe. Okay, so the console you will see the different, but in the server you will see the different. Okay, like this one. So instead of like this SDF, SDG, SDABCD, you will see something like this one. Okay, and which we can check with the lsblk command, list block. Okay, so once your volume is created and you have attached to the particular instance, okay, the next step is you need to format the volume. Okay, and during the format of volume you have to specify the file system type, which kind of a file system you would like to create. Okay, so for that we can check what is the existing file system of the root file system. We can run the df-th command, or whatever the file system type that you will get there, you can use the same file system for the formatting. Okay, so here we have the XFS. So once the file your volume is formatted, okay, you need to create a mount point where you want to attach. Okay, for example, you need a slash data folder. Okay, for some purpose. So you can create a directory slash data in your local file system. Okay, and then you can mount. Sorry, then you can mount the new block volume that you have attached and formatted to this particular directory. Okay, so now after that you have to refer this particular volume with this particular folder. So this will looks like a local folder in your system, and you can go inside that one. You can create the different directories, files, install the softwares. Okay, so this will be like your just like a traditional file system in your machine. Okay, and to make it persistent, that means once it is mounted, okay, so you have to make it persistent. That means whenever you are going to, if you are going to restart your virtual machines, okay, you have to make sure that as soon as the virtual machine is started, this mount point this particular mount point which we have created, it will automatically mount it. Okay, so for that we need to do the entry in the FS tab. Okay, for when we do the entry in the FS tab, so we have to specify this particular file system which we have created, okay, with the UUID. Okay, and then we can check with this UUID with the BLK ID command, block ID command. So you can get the UUID with the help of block ID command, and then you can make the entry in the FS tab, BIETC FS tab. Okay, so once you will do this entry, so anytime your server is going to restart it, your mount point will automatically get mounted after that. If you are not going to do this one, okay, and anytime you are going to restart your instance, after that you will not able to see this particular mount point. It will not be there. It will be on your AWS account, but it will not be visible to you because it is not mounted. So that's why we always make the entry in the FS tab, so that it automatically mounted whenever you are going to restart your machines. Right. So this is a net process, okay, we follow for attaching an extra volume to an EC2 instance. You want to clean up everything, whatever you have done, this is the cleanup steps. Okay, so cleanup is very straightforward. That means you can do the reverse order. Whatever we have done here, you have to follow in the reverse order, same to clean up. Okay, you have to unmount the volume with the help of unmount command. Okay, then remove the directory that you have created for the mounting this particular mount point. Okay, remove the entry from the FS tab. Okay, and then detach the volume from the AWS console and delete from the AWS console. So this is exactly the reverse order of whatever we have been going to do here for the creating and attaching the volume. Okay, so this is a net action plan. So hope the action plan is clear to you. So let me do the execution. Okay, so that you will get a better understanding. So this is my AWS account. So this is the machine that is up and running. So first I will log into this machine. Okay, and then I will show you, and then after that I will going to attach a new volume, creating and attaching a new volume. Okay, so let me first log in. Okay, so first I will show you the current file system, whatever is there, and then I will show you with the new volume. Okay, so I have now logged into my system, and if I run the lsblk command, okay, list block command, okay, you can see that this is a disk that is automatically attached when I have created this EC2 instance, and this particular storage volume has a 4 partition, which is a root partition. Okay, so this is the main volume, and inside this main volume we have 4 partitions here. Okay, and this is the main root partition. Right. So now we are going to, so this is because this is a default disk that is created automatically when we install the EC2, create the EC2 machine. So for maybe for your application software, you will need a custom, some different file system or some different volume. You don't want to do anything on this particular root volume, right, or boot volume. So for that we are going to create a new volume. So for that you have to go to the your EC2 dashboard. So this is my EC2 dashboard, and inside that we have an option called the volume. Okay, so let me show you. So here we have the option elastic block storage, right? EBS volume. So go inside the volumes. Okay, so it will list all the volumes of whatever there is currently in your system. Okay, so all these volumes are related with the EC2 instances that I have. These are the default volumes that is automatically created when we create the EC2 instance. Okay, so to create a new volume, you have to go to here and click on create volume. So as I said, there would be a multiple type of volume, and there is a specific purpose of each and every volume type. Okay, so if you have some different kind of a requirement where you need a very high throughput of your for your application, so you have to study what are the difference between all these different volumes. Okay, so that you can optimize or select the properly. Okay, otherwise in generic way you have to go with the default one, which is the generic purpose SSD GP3. Now you have to specify what is the storage that you want for your particular volume. Okay, it depends on your requirement, what kind of a storage that you are expecting. So you can select, this is the IOPS and this is the throughput. Okay, so this is the default one. Okay, but if you wanted to go for some high throughput or for high IOPS, okay, you can increase these values. Okay, and you can see here what is the maximum value for these particular settings given here. Okay, it can go up to the 2000 or up to the 80,000 here. Okay, so now after that, this was, as I was saying, you have to make sure that you are selecting the same availability zone in which your machine is there, EC2 machine is there, right? Because you are going to attach this storage to your machine. So let me show you this as well. Okay, so I will log into a duplicate screen. So I will show you the availability zone of my machine, okay, to which I am going to attach this particular volume which I am creating. Okay, so we have to ensure it should be same. So let me go to EC2 dashboard. Okay, then instances. So I am planning to attach this particular volume to my one of my machine which is up and running as of now, this one. Okay, so click on the machine and then go to the networking, and here you can see this is belong to northeast 1 and then 1A availability zone 1A. Okay, so here you can see there we have a 3 availability zones here. So my machine is in the 1A availability zone, so I have selected the same. Okay, so ignore this, this is not required snapshot ID because we are not going to create this volume from a particular snapshot. This I will cover in some other session, what is the meaning of this one. Okay, and these are the few important details that you have to specify, and then you can click on create volume. Okay, so now you can see the volume has been created successfully. Okay, so now if I refresh my screen, okay, and here you can see the volume state in use. So that means all the volume that is showing in use, that means these all are attached to a particular EC2 instance. That's why it is showing the volume state is in use. So here you can see this volume which I have created right now of 20 GB. Okay, so let me select this volume. So this is a volume. Okay, so for this one you can say the volume state is available. That means this volume is available to attach to any of the EC2 instance machine. So the next step, I need to attach this particular volume to a particular instance. Okay, so I have selected this volume here. Okay, so once the volume is selected, you have to click on actions and then attach volume. Okay, so once you go to attach volume, then you will see option here instances. Okay, to which instance you want to attach this particular volume. Okay, so you can click here and then you will see all the machines that is belong to this particular availability zone. Okay, this availability zone has automatically been taken because this is the same availability zone that we have taken when we have created this volume. So it is automatically displaying all the instances that is belong to this particular availability zone. Okay, so this is my machine HA proxy, okay, to which I want to assign this. You can say the name is HA proxy. Okay, and if I show you the instance details, so you can say instance ID is ending with B22, right? And same you can see here as well. So I have selected the HA proxy and the instance ID ending with B22. Okay, so after that, as I said, this is the device name. So you have to select a device name. So this is a logical device name, whatever you have to give to this volume that you are going to attach, right? So you can select any of the available data volume. For example, let me select the SDB. Okay, so once you select this option, so as I explained to you here, okay, so this is a logical volume, whatever you are seeing screen. Okay, so here I have given the example of SDF. Okay, so there are multiple options are here, available options are here, B, C, D, E, F. You can select any one. Okay, so this is a logical name, but at the instance level you will something going to see like NVMe. Okay, not this SDF or whatever we are selecting here on the screen, right? And after that click on attach volume. Okay, so now you can see the volume has been attached to my instance. Okay, and now the volume status is in use. Okay, so now it is in use. So what I will do now, go back to my machine. So here previously I run the lsblk command. Okay, so if I run the lsblk command again, okay, so now here you can see this is the extra NVMe volume that has been attached. It was not there earlier, right? Earlier it was only single volume which has 4 partition, but now here I am have a different volume, new volume as well, which is of the 20 GB. But as of now we have not formatted and mounted this. So this is showing attached to your machine, but to use it we need to format this particular storage or volume, and after that we need to mount it in a particular file system or in a particular path in your machine, right? So now what is the next step? This is done, so we need to format it. Okay, now to format it, what I said, you need to understand what is the file system. We have a different kind of a file system. So which file system you are going to use for this particular volume. Okay, the best way is you can run the command df-th. Okay, so once in the df-th command, you can see the default file system, okay, for the root. So this is the root slash. So this slash represents the root. And what is the file system type for this root is that xfs. Okay. So whatever the type you are seeing here, you need to format according to that file system. So in my case, it is xfs. Okay. So what I will do, I will run this command. Okay, to format the disk. Okay. So make sure to replace this with the name whatever you are seeing on the screen. Okay. So here we have the name NVMe1N1. Okay, I think it is same. Yeah, it is same. Okay, and after that you need to run this command. Okay, to format this particular volume. So now go back to your machine, run this command. Okay, now the volume has been formatted. Okay, so now the volume has been formatted. Now I need to attach it to a particular directory or where I am going to use it. Okay, so other option is, suppose that you want to do the partition just like we do in a traditional way when we install some hard disk in our Windows machine. So we can partition in the like C drive, D drive, F drive, something like that. Okay, so if you want to do a partition of that, so that I am going to cover in some different session. Okay, how to do the partition and then how to mount it. Okay, so as of now what I am doing, I am just mounting the complete file system or volume, okay, which we have created, right? So now we have formatted. So now I want to mount it as an slash data, because I want some of my software directory and files to be there in the slash data. Okay, so now I have created a folder slash data, okay, with the help of mkdir with this one, right? So now what I will do, I will mount this particular volume which I have created and formatted to this particular directory which I have created just now. So this is the mount command. With the help of this mount command, it will be mounted to the slash data directory, right? And now you can check it as well. If you run the df-kh command, you can see here now slash data, the size is 20 GB, okay, and then this is the particular volume that we have created, right? The same volume we have mounted to slash data. Okay, so now what I said, you need to make it persistent. That means whenever you are going to restart, so your machine should automatically mount it. Otherwise, you will not able to see this file system once your system is restarted, right? So for that, you need to take the UUID of your particular volume. So that means for that, you need to first run the command blkid, block ID, blkid, which is called a block ID. Okay, so it is not showing. So what we can do, we can simple run the lkid. And then to get the UUID of my particular file system, I can give the complete name, device NVMe1N1. Okay, so now this is the UUID of my file system. So you can take this UUID, okay, and come here. You can just replace this with your UUID, whatever you have got for the your volume. Okay, and we are mounted it in slash data. Rest is same. We are going with the XFX file system. So you can take this. Okay, you need to add in the FS tab. So let me go back here. Open the etc fs tab file. Okay, take this content and then you need to append at the here. Okay, and exit. Okay, so I think I have not given the allowing me to, so sudo go to copy paste and exit. Okay, so now we have added the entry in your fs tab file. Okay, so now what will happen, whenever your machine is going to restart, it will automatically this volume to the slash data, right? Otherwise, as I said, what will happen, you will not able to see this file system. Now you want to check the syntax if it is good or not, whatever you have written in the file. So you can run the mount-a command for that. Mount-a. Okay, so this is good. That means now we have created a file system and mounted properly, okay, to the slash data. Now suppose that again now you want to clean up everything. Maybe you are doing some in the exercise in the lab and you want to clean up. So what you need to do, you just unmount it. Let me show you quickly this as well. Okay, so very first thing, just unmount it. We have unmounted the slash data, right, in the reverse order. And if you run the df-kh or df-h command, okay, so you will not able to see this particular. Now you can see where we do not have any slash data, right? Then you can remove the directory, whatever the directory that you have created, you just need to remove that one, okay, slash data. So I have removed that one. So if you have created some items inside that, you can remove with the -rf, okay, rm-rf, if you have some data inside this directory, right? Now you need to remove the entry which you have done in the fs tab file. Open the fs tab and then just remove this one and exit. Okay, so we have removed the entry from the fs tab, right? Now you can just detach and delete it from the AWS console. Okay, so go to your AWS console and then you have to look for the particular volume. Okay, so now let me see, this is the volume which I have created. Okay, you can check with the created date and time as well. Okay, so this is the volume that I have created. Okay, which is showing initialization state as blank. Okay, and let me refresh it. Okay, so this was the machine, okay, right, where we have attached this one. So logical attachment is still there. So what I will do, I will quickly go here. I will select. So you have to make sure that when you are deleting, okay, you have selected the correct volume. Otherwise, you may delete some volume which is attached to some other instance and you will lose your data. You lost your machine along with the data. Okay, so you have to make sure that you are going to select the correct instance. Okay, so for that you have to make sure that you have noted down the particular volume ID when it is created. Okay, or if it is not, then you have to check for the date and time for when you have created this particular volume. Okay, just to ensure. Now after that you can just go to actions and then click on detach volume. So before delete you need to detach it. Okay, so once this is detached, you will not see this volume attached to a particular any of the instance. You can see the attached resources, it is not attached to any of the particular machine as of now. Okay, after that you can select it, actions, and then delete volume, and then specify the delete and confirm. So this will delete your complete volume. Okay, you can refresh it here and then you can go to your instance and then run ls blk. Okay, so now you can see the volume has been completely removed. So now hope it is clear to you the basic concepts of a volume, EBS, how to create new, how to mount, and then how to format, how to check the file system, and how to do it completely end to end.